I once had a student who had been through leukemia and all the treatments, and this poem became precious to her. And no wonder, it gives us an entirely different take on death. Here is John Donne's Death Be Not Proud. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou think'st thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure then from thee much more must flow. And soonest our best men with thee do go, rest from their bones and soul's delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell. And poppy or charms can make us sleep as well. And better than thy stroke, why swell'st thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. Once you see the poem all laid out like this, you can see that it's a square. And when you see that, you have to ask yourself if this might be a sonnet. A quick count of the lines and the A-B-B-A-A-B-B-A rhyme scheme of the first 8 tell us that we have a sonnet, a Petrarchan sonnet. And by the way, the boring title for this sonnet is Holy Sonnet 10. That's another way you can tell it's a sonnet. Let's break this poem down and deal with it one part at a time. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou think'st thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. Death is addressed directly. And when a poem talks directly to something or someone that can't respond, it's called an apostrophe. Yes, this is an apostrophe too, but so is it when the speaker tells death that it shouldn't be proud. To paraphrase, oh sure, some have called thee mighty and dreadful, but you are actually neither. You see, people that you think you overthrow, you kill, they don't die. And I won't either. The first quatrain is kind of a neener thing. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure then from thee much more must flow. And soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and soul's delivery. People in general, while we love to take naps and go to bed at night unless we're 4. And to paraphrase, they look like you, death. They are a picture of you. And when we wake up, we feel great and rested. So death, I'm asking you, if we like rest and sleeping so much, why can't we expect to get so much more pleasure from passing through you? Have you noticed that people who go with you first are our best, our most brave, and our most energetic? So if you look at all this logically, the speaker says, death looks a lot more like a reward. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell. And poppy or charms can make us sleep as well, and better than thy stroke. Why swell'st thou then? The speaker says, you think you're hot stuff. Ha! You are a minion, because you are at the beck and call of cruel kings and murderers. They direct you. And that second line here, they say that you can tell a man by the company he keeps. Well, who do you hang around with? Poison, war, and sickness? Those guys are lowlifes. Besides the third line, drugs and hypnotists can make us sleep just as good as you. No, better than you. Where do you get off on being so uppity? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. In the play and the movie Wit, I strongly recommend it by the way, there is a brief academic discussion as to how this last line should be punctuated. Professor Ashford argues that in some editions the last line of Donne's poem has been improperly punctuated. She calls it hysterical punctuation, and that the editor was obviously out of their mind. And death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. Ashford argues that this is all wrong. The line should be rendered like this. And death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. The first death should not be capitalized. And a comma should separate the two clauses, not a semicolon. And that explanation point at the end is ridiculous. And death, lowercase, shall be no more, comma. Death, thou shalt die. Between life and eternal life is death. But death is not a semicolon with its strength and its demands, but just the unobtrusive pause of a comma. Go watch that movie. Again, it's called Wit. John Donne was a priest in the Church of England, and he lived during the time of the plague. He was a Christian, and death was all around. It's a fitting poem for his time, but I think it's a fitting poem for all times, including ours. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.